This is the GIS Evening Report for Wednesday, June 19th, 2024. I am Chrisanne Mitchell. In the headlines, National Water and Sewerage Authority lifts water restrictions imposed 1 month ago. Details to this story and more when we return.
This June marks government's second year in office. Let's reflect together in a series of town hall meetings, discussing and planning for the next year and beyond. St. Patrick, we're coming your way first on Monday, June 10th at MacDonald College. Then it's St. Andrew the following Monday, June 17th at the Deluxe Cinema in Grenville. On Wednesday, June 19th, we journey to the sister Isle of Carriacou at the Hillsborough Government School. And it all culminates in St. George on Monday, June 24th at the Boca Secondary School. All meetings start at 7 p.m. Your voice matters, and we want to hear from you. Join us in this engaging and informative series of discussions as we work towards a better future together. Don't miss out on this opportunity to engage with your government officials. Also live on GIS, Channel 22. Together, we can work towards a brighter future. See you there.
Welcome back. The National Water and Sewerage Authority has lifted water restrictions that were imposed on May 12th as a means of saving water during the severe dry spell experienced. Communications specialist Jamelia Lewis told GIS that the company's dams and reservoirs have been replenished with the recent rains, and as such, the restrictions were lifted on Tuesday, June 18th. The measures, which affected irrigation and watering of gardens, washing pavements and vehicles with hoses, and filling swimming pools, were implemented to alleviate the drought-like conditions. During that period, NWASA boosted its communication strategy to advise the public on effective storage and conservation methods.
NWASA had consultation with relevant stakeholders, and at that point, it was determined that the recent rainfall that we received has adequately replenished the water catchment areas, thereby alleviating the drought-like conditions that we experienced during the month of May. NWASA, of course, would like to thank the general public for cooperating and for complying with the restrictions, which were intended to promote conservation and ensure that there is equitable distribution of the limited resources that we had.
Lewis says all water systems will remain under valve regulation to properly manage and maintain the supply and distribution of water to customers.
We want to advise persons, however, that all water systems remain under valve regulation, and this will ensure that there is equity in the distribution of water throughout the remainder of the rainy season. Of course, there are going to be times that we would not be getting rains and we will have some dry spells. So we are maintaining the water valve regulation schedules for all water systems that are currently valve regulated, and we are continuing to ask persons to be able to manage their supply adequately to ensure that they are able to meet the needs of their families.
The Challenge Fund for Agriculture, CFA, is seeking to ensure that farmers receive their disbursements to begin implementing water-efficient solutions on their farms. This initiative will lay the groundwork for a more resilient agriculture sector by minimizing adverse environmental impacts while conserving water, a precious resource. The CFA is one of the outputs of the Climate Resilient Water Sector in Grenada (GIS) project, jointly financed by the Green Climate Fund and the German Federal Ministry for the Environment, Nature Conservation, Nuclear Safety and Consumer Protection under its International Climate Initiative and the Government of Grenada. It is being implemented by the Grenada Development Bank in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands. Communications Officer at the Grenada Development Bank is Ria Marie.
We are happy to note that the Challenge Fund for Agriculture, which is part of the GIS project, is moving ahead, and farmers have already begun receiving their disbursements under the program to enable them to purchase water-efficient solutions for their farms. And what this will lead to is a more resilient agricultural sector, one that is less prone to adverse environmental impacts. And we have seen thus far what has been happening throughout the drought season and the impact that it has had on the agricultural sector. So we're really looking forward to the benefits coming from this program that will enable us to have a more resilient agricultural sector.
Murray says the CFA promotes the adoption of water-efficient solutions in the agriculture sector through the use of grants to facilitate water audits, solution design and implementation, including incentivizing the purchase of water-efficient equipment.
The bulk procurement framework for the purchase of irrigation equipment was recently tendered, and it is expected that a contract will be issued within 1 month for the equipment. To the farmers who have requested shade houses, an update will be forthcoming soon.
So far, water audits of more than 220 farms have been conducted, and the presentation of project designs to farmers in each agricultural district commenced in 2023. Beneficiary farmers can contact the Ministry of Agriculture or the Grenada Development Bank. Stay with us, we'll have more news after the break. Welcome back. The 2024 plant distribution season is on schedule for the upcoming planting season, despite the effects of the recent harsh drought conditions, which restricted access to water and materials. The official launch is scheduled for Wednesday, June 26 at the Maribor Propagation Station, and the sale of plants will commence the following day, Thursday, June 27th, at Maribor, Ashendon, and Maran Propagation Stations. Nigel Gibbs, supervisor of propagation at Maribor Propagation Station, indicated that most plants will be available for farmers except citrus. He said challenges persist in setting up shade houses tailored for citrus propagation in a controlled environment. Gibbs highlighted a particular focus on mangoes, mentioning new varieties that will be available to farmers.
So we have East India, which is a new introduction. It's a mango from India, from the East Indies, but it was brought to Grenada and has good commercial potential. So that is one of the new varieties, and it's been a couple years now, but we're still trying to get it in. I think as the farmers and them get accustomed with it, and probably we get access again to the US market because it's one of the varieties with good export potential. We have a little one called Trinidad Stash. Very beautiful, very tasty, very creamy mangoes. So we have those two varieties that have been on the back burner that we increasing in production. We have a new mango. It's not fully out there yet, but it's something that we discovered from a farmer, and we think that there is potential. We've done some tests on it. The sugar content is quite good. It's a good table mango, no threads and so on. And so we started propagating that, and also very small amount of farmers have purchased that. So we're looking very good with mangoes.
Finding planting materials for avocado propagation was initially challenging, but the station team has now secured over 100 for distribution, along with more than 3,000 soursop plants.
We have avocados. That is one. This year we probably had some issues with collecting the budwood because of the drought. The trees were not the long period, and it was difficult for us to get the planting material, including the seeds, because the pear did not bear as in a regular season where we would have, and normally it's a 2-year cycle. So we had a low seed pear production last year, avocado production, and so our seed acquisition was kind of not where we wanted to be. We also had to deal with a lot of pre-dialasting of the avocados. So when they go with the avocado, the seed is lost in the same timeline. But we have just bothering on probably 1,000 avocados, and I think that would suffice for the planting season. And we are still in the process of grafting the avocados. Soursop. We have a soursop value chain committee that is active, and we were looking to now graft the soursop as an addition to providing seedlings so that we would have true to type from the parent material. We would know that it is the same material we deliver into farmers. We've had some issues again, and mainly to do with the excessive heat and the shortage of water. So both collecting of the sand material and having the right conditions for the take. So we've had some deaths, but we do have some grafted soursop. That will probably transition into germplasm, so we would have more plants available going forward, more planting material. But generally, seedlings, we're up to probably about 2,000 to 3,000 that will be ready for plant distribution. And we have probably another 2,000 to 3,000 that will be ready probably about a month or so after we commence at the end of June.
Gibbs is cautioning about potential shortage of pineapples, sweet potatoes, yams, and other crops. The Royal Grenada Police Force Fire Department has reported a significant rise in fires for the first 5 months of 2024. Statistics released by the department indicate a notable increase in the number of fires compared with the same period last year. 135 fire-related incidents were reported by the end of the May 2024 period. Sergeant 175 Augustine Mitchell, officer attached to the fire department, gave an insight into the statistics during the RGPF's live weekly program, One-on-One on GIS.
The bushfires, as the inspector really spoke about, elaborate on, for 2023, we had 79, and for 2024, we have 135. So we had an increase of bushfire 56 within that period, which gives us a percentage of 70.89%. There was some other increase in the rubbish fires. Rubbish fire, we had 50 for 2024, and for 2023, we have 31, which gives us an increase of 19 rubbish fire, 61.20%. Dwelling house, we have an increase there again. We have 4 increase for this year, 23 for 2024, 19 for 2023. So we had an increase of 21.5%.
Inspector Thaddeus Hamilton, officer attached to the fire department, added that the public should take the no-burn policy seriously. Failure to adhere to the policy can result in a charge of 500 EC or imprisonment of up to 3 months.
There is laws that restricts everything. Relative to the agriculture, for the farmers, there is the Agricultural Fires Act. And this act seeks to regulate the setting of fires on agricultural land, a land that is being prepared for agricultural purposes. It outlines the procedure one must follow before they set fire to land. It indicates that you have to apply to the Ministry of Agriculture, who is the competent authority for a license to do so. The Ministry of Agriculture, that's the Extension Division, they may grant or refuse your license. If they grant you a license, then they will give you the terms and conditions which you are to comply with. Right? If they, in their opinion, that bond is not necessary, then they wouldn't issue a license. However, if the ministry fails to respond to you, whether you are applying writing or in person, the law gives you permission to set the fire on your own volition. However, any damage sustained, you will be liable. Right? However, as it stands now, there is a no burden policy, so there is no issuing of license for the setting of fires on land.
The public is also urged to stop placing prank calls to the fire department or any other. The department has reported 19 false calls made to the department for 2024.
There is a penalty for it, but persons are very ignorant that there is, so we're trying to ask the person to cease from doing so. Because when we do that, remember our resources, we have to use the appliances, we have to use diesel to move, we have to get the men organized to move and so forth. Just in case there is another fire, then we have to return, and according to the distance, because our jurisdiction is from St. George's right up to St. David's.
Okay.
So there is a prank call in St. David's.
Right.
Last suggests Bellevue area. They don't know the appliance reaching St. David's. And then we have to return back to St. George's. so you're expecting that, the amount of resources there, fluid use for the appliances and, warranty on the appliance. So it's asking persons to stop doing that, cease from doing it.
We'll have more news after this break.
Are you thinking about buying a vehicle? Did you find a company on social media? Stop. It may be a scam. Look out for the following red flags. Is the price lower than other dealers? Does it seem too good to be true? Are you sending the monies to the US even though you are ordering the vehicle from Japan? Does the address on the invoice match the address on the payment details? Are conversations limited to WhatsApp text? Is there a sense of urgency placed on you by the seller? You are about to be scammed. Do not take your hard-earned cash or even worse, a loan to send to these scammers. Once the money leaves Grenada's shores, you are not likely to get it back. Consider buying a vehicle already on island from an individual or a car dealer. Beware of these scammers. If in doubt, it's best to stay out. A message from the Financial Intelligence Unit.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Sports 2024 Primary Schools Cricket Festival will begin on Thursday, June 20th, 2024 at Cuthbert Peters Park with schools from St. Mark and St. John. Approximately 40 schools will be participating in the Cricket Festival this year, which features both boys and girls in a knockout format. Troy George, cricket coach at the Ministry of Sports, says the purpose of the festival is to showcase the talent of the cricketers under the program and their passion for the game. Along with that positive development, he mentioned that more females are now playing the sport and he anticipates them hosting their own competition soon. He encourages all to come out and support the new generation of cricket at the various venues. Matches will run from June 20th to July 2nd, 2024, and all will begin at 9:30 a.m. Project leader for the Ministry of Youth's Empower program, Mrs. Adana Francis John, is pleased with the registration turnout for the 4th cohort of the program. The process, which began in Carriacou last week, continues to target unemployed men between the ages of 16 and 35 who are looking for an opportunity for self-development. Registration continues on Friday, 21st June at the Resource Center, Victoria St. Mark, and Monday, 24th June 2024 at the Guave Pastoral Center, St. John. Mrs. John encouraged young men to take advantage of the skills training that the program offers.
We have approximately more than 200 young men registered thus far, which is really not bad. But I know there are a lot of young men out there. If you have not heard about it, this is the opportunity to, find out, to have an interest or to express that interest and to actually come out and register for the project. Empower is here. This is cohort 4.0. It's a wonderful experience for the young men to actually go through. I've been with the project since the inception, so I can tell you of the numerous testimonies that we had with young men that have been through. The project, yes, it is open to all young men who are unemployed and you're looking for something meaningful. But it's not just what the project has to offer for you, but it's how you take what is being offered and turn it into a future plan, a future goal. Persons like before would have opened their small businesses. Some of them would have gained employment and some of them are still where they are. And that is a testament to how the significance of the project is in terms of the impact on persons' lives.
That story brings us to the end of this evening's broadcast. I am Chris and Mitchell saying thank you for viewing.